Welcome to another installment of Through the Bible in 1 Year Bible Study, King James Translation. Today is Saturday, March 2nd, year of our Lord 2024. May God bless you for coming to study His Word for whatever reason, whether you're a truth seeker or a curiosity seeker, whoever you are. May God bless you because His Word is true and we'll all be judged by it. Okay, we're going to pick up our study roughly where we left off today, starting in Genesis chapter 26, continuing with the life of Isaac and Rebekah, somewhat paralleling the life that Abraham and Sarah lived in many respects. So let's get into it here. I'm trying to minimize my face here. There we are. And move myself up and out of the way. We are in Genesis chapter 26. Okay, I'm going to magnify the words here so you can read it on your own. So we see that just as Abraham had to relocate due to famine in his day, Isaac did the same and went unto Abimelech, king of the Philistines, unto Gerar. And the Lord appeared unto him and said, Go not down into Egypt. Egypt being probably the most well-established, the United States of its time, most prosperous nation at the time, and whenever there was famine, it seemed like that's where everybody went, was to Egypt. Okay, so the Lord's telling him, don't go down to Egypt. Dwell in the land which I shall tell thee of. So a good man, the book of Proverbs tells us, a good man's steps are directed by the Lord. Verse 3 says, Sojourn in this land, and I will be with thee, and I will bless thee. For unto thee and unto thy seed will I give all these countries, and will perform the oath which I swear unto Abraham thy father. Now the main virtue that I can see in Isaac's life, Isaac's and Rebekah's life, was not quite as dramatic, though it had its moments as Abraham and Sarah's, I don't think. But just as Abraham and Sarah had two children, one child representing the natural man and our bondage to sin and judgment to sin as being judged by the law, and the other child representing the freedom that we have in God's Holy Spirit and following God with the Spirit of Christ. Okay, two symbolic children born in different circumstances at different times to be living symbols of God's plan, and the plan continues down through the generations. So here we are in the second generation from Abraham, Isaac and Rebekah, and they went on to have twin boys, Esau representing the natural man and Jacob representing the spiritual man. Okay, that's the long and short of it. Let me continue here. Picking it up in verse 4, he says, I will make thy seed to multiply as the stars of heaven, and will give unto thy seed all these countries, and in thy seed shall all the nations of the earth be blessed, because that Abraham obeyed my voice and kept my charge and my commandment. I put and. I sometimes interject words by mistake. Okay, because that Abraham obeyed my voice and kept my charge, my commandments, my statutes, and my laws. Okay, so the main thing about Isaac's life was that he continued following the example and the teachings of his father and mother, Abraham and Sarah, in worshiping only the one true God, as opposed to the countries, Egypt and the other countries, Canaan, who had a multitude of idolatry occurring at that time, worshiping false gods. So now he did the same thing that Abraham did when he went into the country. Abraham had Sarah tell the people she was his sister, and which was only half true because she was his sister, but his half sister. Okay, um, Isaac's asking the same thing for Rebekah. I'll just read it to you how it went down. It says, "And the men of the place asked him of his wife, and he said, She is my sister. For he feared to say, She is my wife, lest, said he, the men of the place should kill me for Rebekah, because she was fair to look upon." So back in those days, just killing people and taking their wives was a common practice among the heathen, I guess. Came to pass when he had been there a long time that Abimelech, king of the Philistines, looked out at a window and saw, and behold, Isaac was sporting. So he was playing around with Rebekah, his wife. And Abimelech called Isaac and said, "Behold, of a surety she is thy wife. And how saidst thou, She is my sister?" And Isaac said unto him, "Because I said, Lest I die for her." And Abimelech said, "What is this that thou hast done unto us? One of the people might lightly have lying with thy wife, and thou shouldest have brought guiltiness upon us." And Abimelech charged all his people, saying, "He that toucheth this man or his wife shall surely be put to death." Then Isaac sowed in that land and received in the same year 100-fold blessing. And the Lord blessed him. And the man waxed great and went forward and grew until he became very great. Man, this is almost the exact story of what happened to Abraham. Okay, so he had same interesting, same sort of circumstances. His servants dug wells of water which were stopped up by the surrounding Philistines, basically because they envied him. People have, just like today, we see a lot of people on the left resent what Donald Trump is trying to do to and for this country, and taking away some of their authority and power. And so out of resentment, they're just trying to stop him, even if it means the total destruction and ruination of our country. But they don't care. They're more interested in power than they are in righteousness and truth. Okay, so I'm going to move on down here to the next chapter, because it's basically just this chapter. Let's see here. The people of the land ended up making a deal with Isaac, and when they saw that the Lord was really blessing him, they came to him and said, "We saw certainly that the Lord was with thee, and we said, Let there be now an oath." So when they want to be on the winning side, who's ever being blessed, he said, "Let there be now an oath between us, betwixt," using the King James language here, "even betwixt us and thee, and let us make a covenant with thee, that thou wilt do us no hurt, as we have not touched thee, and as we have done unto thee in nothing but good." Well, that's not entirely true. They did stop up the wells of water that his servants dug, just like Abraham's servants had to strive for the wells that they dug. "And as we have done unto thee nothing but good, and have sent thee away in peace, thou art now blessed of the Lord." So Isaac, being a goodwill unto man type of person, because he was a God-fearing man, he said, and he made them a feast, verse 30, "And they did eat and drink, and they rose up betimes." So I guess many times, several times. Betimes? I'm not quite sure of that. I'm like everybody else. I might be a little bit behind in my knowledge of King James English, but betimes, I think that means several times in the morning, and swear one to another. So they did it more than once. "Hey, promise you, we're not going to mess with you. You don't mess with us, and let's dwell together and live together in peace." Came to pass the same day that Isaac's servants came and told him concerning the well which they had digged, and said unto him, "We have found water," which was a big deal, right? Back then, there was no well digging service. You called and come out and dig the well for you. You had to dig it. And I wonder what kind of tools they had. Rocks. I don't think even the Iron Age had. I might be totally wrong. They probably had implements of iron by now, but had to be slow going to dig any kind of well, and to find it, and to be able to find water was no doubt a hit and miss thing. So anyway, it turns out that during this time, one of their sons, their firstborn son Esau, took a wife, and it last few verses said her name was Judith. She didn't get along too well with Isaac and Rebekah. Let's move on to the next chapter. Okay, so their eldest son Esau was kind of an outdoorsman, whereas their youngest son, but they were twins, so he was only eldest by a few minutes. The youngest son Jacob was more of a man of more of a cosmopolitan, you might say. He dwelled in tents. He wasn't an rugged outdoorsman who went and hunted venison like Esau did. He did other things. So we're coming to the end of Isaac's life here. Chapter 27 came to pass that when Isaac was old and his eyes were dim, so that he could not see, he called Esau his eldest son and said unto him, My son. And he said unto him, Behold, here am I. And he said, Behold now, I am old, and I know not the day of my death. So he's wondering, he's thinking, I'm getting ready to die here. I can't see well anymore. Now therefore take, I pray thee, thy weapons, thy quiver and thy bow, and go out to the field, and take me some venison, and make me savory meat, such as I love, and bring it to me, that I may eat, that my soul may bless thee before I die. And Rebekah heard when Isaac spake to Esau his son. Esau went to the field to hunt for venison, and to bring it. And Rebekah spake unto Jacob her son, second born, saying, Behold, I heard thy father speak unto Esau thy brother, saying, Bring me venison, and make me savory meat, that I may eat and bless thee before the Lord before my death. Okay. Why she felt compelled to get involved with this, I'm not quite sure. It said in the earlier verse, which I did not read, that Rebekah favored Jacob over Esau, but Isaac favored Esau over Jacob because of his hunting skills and venison that he would bring Isaac. So it's my opinion that when you have children, you should love them all the same. You shouldn't have favorites. But anyway, they did. So in verse 8, Rebekah says, Now therefore, my son, obey my voice according to that which I command thee. Go now to the flock, and fetch me from thence 2 good kids of the goats, and I will make them savory meat for thy father, such as he loveth. And thou shalt bring it to thy father, that he may eat, and that he may bless thee before his death. Okay? And so Jacob says, Mom, I'm not sure that's a good idea. What if he kind of finds out, talking to me and he's touching me? My brother is a hairy man, and I've got kind of smooth skin. He's going to be able to tell it's not me giving him it's not Esau, rather, giving him the meat, but it's me. She said, don't worry about it. She goes, put your blame on me, son. If he does, don't worry about it. He goes, so he did what his mom said. It came to pass as soon as Isaac had made an end of... Okay, excuse me, I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's go back. So he did... Let's go back to 22. And Jacob went near unto Isaac his father, and he felt him and said, The voice is Jacob's voice, but the hands are the hands of Esau. They had put some hair on the hands of Jacob. So evidently his brother Esau had hairy hands, I guess, I don't know. And he discerned him not, because his hands were hairy as his brother Esau's hands. So he blessed him. And he said, Art thou my very son Esau? And he said, I am. So he lied there. From what I understand, someone can look it up. I'm not going to get into the weeds on this. The name of Jacob means a supplanter or a deceiver. Okay, so he's living up to his name here. And he said, Bring it near to me, and I will eat of my son's venison, that my soul may bless thee. He brought it near to him. He did eat, brought him wine, and he drank. And his father Isaac said unto him, Come now and kiss me, my son. And he came near and kissed him. And he smelled the smell of his raiment and blessed him, and said, See, the smell of my son is as the smell of a field which the Lord hath blessed. Therefore, God give thee the dew of heaven, and the fatness of the earth, and plenty of corn and wine. Let people serve thee, and nations bow down to thee. Be Lord over thy brethren, and let thy mother's sons bow down to thee. Cursed be every one that curseth thee, and blessed be he that blesseth thee. So I think he's taking inspiration here from what the Lord had told Abraham very many years ago. I will bless those who bless you and curse those who curse you. So he's kind of repeating the same thing here to Jacob, his son, thinking that it's his elder son, Esau. It came to pass, as soon as Isaac had made an end of blessing Jacob, and Jacob was yet scarce gone out from the presence of Isaac, his father, that Esau, his brother, came in from his hunting. And he also had made savory meat, and brought it unto his father. So he did all this very quickly, and said unto his father, Let my father arise and eat of his son's venison, that thy soul may bless me. And Isaac said unto him, Who art thou? And he said, I am thy son, thy firstborn Esau. And Isaac trembled very exceedingly, and said, Who? So when a person of God speaks, if they're really following the Lord, as Isaac was here, what they speak will come to pass. And in the time when Isaac blessed Jacob, it had weight in the spiritual realm. The Lord made sure it was going to happen, and it did come to pass. Jacob turned out to be blessed, and Jacob and his descendants turned out to be the ruler over Esau and his descendants. And Isaac trembled very exceedingly, and said, Who? Where is he that hath taken venison and brought it to me? And I have eaten of all before thou camest, and have blessed him. Yea, and he shall be blessed. So Isaac said, My blessing, it wasn't just words. It had real power behind it. And earlier there's an account I didn't read, where Esau came in from the field, and Jacob was at home and happened to have a pot of lentils cooking. And Esau was hungry, and Esau, back as the custom was the firstborn, and was set to be ruler of the inheritance of Isaac, that Isaac was going to pass down to him. And Esau came and saw Jacob with this little pot of lentils there, and he asked him, he said, give me some of those lentils, I'm hungry, man. And Jacob said, Well, give me your blessing. Swear to me you'll give me your inheritance. And Esau said, I'm hungry. I'm at the point to die. What is my inheritance? He goes, Who cares about my inheritance? He goes, Okay, give me the lentils that you got cooking there. I'll swear to you. So he swore to him, and the New Testament commentary said Esau was a profane person who despised his inheritance. So we're seeing kind of a continuation of this. So verse 35, And he said, Thy brother came with subtlety, and hath taken away thy blessing. And he said, Is he not rightly named Jacob? Jacob, once again, is a name that meant supplanter in the original language. For he hath supplanted me these 2 times. Oh, this is Esau speaking. He took away my birthright, and behold, now he hath taken away my blessing. And he said, Hast thou not reserved a blessing for me? And Isaac answered unto Esau, Behold, I have made him thy lord, and all his brethren have I given to him for servants, and with corn and wine have I sustained him. What shall I do now unto thee, my son? So they had faith in prophecy, and in speaking in the Spirit, things would come to pass, just like we can today. And Esau said unto his father, Hast thou but one blessing, my father? Bless me, even me also, O my father. And Esau lifted up his voice and wept. And Isaac his father answered and said unto him, Behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth, and of the dew of heaven from above. And by thy sword shalt thou live, and shalt serve thy brother. He didn't change the first blessing. God doesn't contradict himself. And it shall come to pass that when thou shalt have the dominion, that thou shalt break his yoke from off thy neck. And Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing wherewith his father blessed him. And Esau said in his heart, The days of mourning for my father are at hand. Then will I slay my brother Jacob. So we have another resentment story brewing here. And these words of Esau, her elder son, were told to Rebekah, and she went and sent and called Jacob. So evidently he was speaking to someone. Who it was, we don't know. But someone told Rebekah, and she sent and called Jacob, her younger son, and said unto him, Behold, thy brother Esau, as touching thee, doth comfort himself, purposing to kill thee. Now therefore, my son, obey my voice, and arise, and flee thou to Laban my brother, to Haran, and tarry with him a few days, until thy brother's fury turn away. So she's hoping he's going to cool off here, until thy brother's anger turn away from thee, and he forget that which thou hast done to him. Then will I send and fetch thee from thence. Why should I be deprived also of you both in one day? And Rebekah said to So I don't think she should have been involved necessarily in this whole situation, but it was too late now. It already happened. And Rebekah said to Isaac, I am weary of my life because of the daughter of Heth. If Jacob take a wife of the daughters of Heth, such as these which are of the daughters of the land, what good shall my life do me? So Rebekah recognized the spiritual condition of the various groups of people they were living amongst, and she gave her assessment of the situation. Verse 46. So we're going to leave it there. I know this is running long, so next time I guess we're going to be starting up in chapter 28, continuing with the story of the life of Isaac and Rebekah and their sons Esau and Jacob, and how the nation of Israel was founded. Okay, so at this point, the book of Genesis is becoming a narrative of the beginning. It's the genesis of the earth as a whole, and then of the specifically of the people of Israel. So we'll continue with our study next time. Thanks for tuning in. God bless you. Remember, diversity is weakness, and when in doubt, vote no. See you next time.